Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the Corporate Services Committee, the 12th meeting. I'm going to read out a statement to start off. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternative formats and communication supports for council, standing, or advisory committee meetings and information upon request. To make a request for any city service, please contact accessibility@london.ca or 519-661-2489, extension 2425. I'll start by looking for any disclosures of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we have two consent items, print services and the annual meeting calendar. Would anybody like to deal with those separately? Seeing none, I would look for a mover of both together then. Councillor Kayabaga, seconded by Councillor Deputy Mayor Helmer. Any discussion?
Just wanted to say on the first item, that is a long agreement. On the second item, I think this is a good improvement. I think it's responding to what we discussed at our last round around the annual meeting calendar. Is a pretty small change. I think that's solving a problem that for the members of the public, which Councillor Morgan has pointed out, that could be a problem. So I'm glad that we're moving forward on that.
Thank you to the Mayor for joining us. We're just debating 2.1 and 2.2 together. So if you have comments on that, we're getting very close to voting. Okay, further comments? Councillor Hillier.
Yes, regarding page 52, the variable labor rates for on-site staff, overtime services $36 per hour, minimum 4-hour minimum charge. I'm just curious how often we've incurred this?
Mr. Daly.
Yep, thank you, and through the chair. This has been incurred on a limited basis. We seek to avoid this at all possible costs, so we do our best to manage that accordingly. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Thanks very much. I'm absolutely sure this issue's been covered. And again, I apologize, Chair, for my delay. And this is specific to the print services. And I think we've read correspondence to the contrary of moving this contract. And I guess through you to Mr. Daly or to whomever is appropriate, just having the confidence level. And again, I apologize if this question has been asked, but that the appropriate protocols have all been dealt with. And I'm always very concerned when vendors, especially current vendors of ours, use lawyers to help us understand the error of our ways. And I just want to make sure that there is no error, that we're confident that we're acting not just in good faith, but within the appropriate jurisdictions to allow us to proceed. Through you, sir.
Sure. I don't know, Mr. Daly and Mr. Card, whichever one wants to respond.
I'll respond. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have looked at the agreement and the basis for the agreement and are satisfied that it can proceed. The issue that has been raised by another vendor is a technical and rather than a substantive issue. And there are ways of resolving it. I think in open session, I won't get into those ways, but I don't see any impediment to proceeding with approval of the agreement.
Okay, any further discussion? And again, this is on both 2.1 and 2.2, which is the print services contract and the annual meeting calendar. We're voting on them together. So, okay, seeing none, we'll open that for voting.
Closing the vote, the motion's passed 5-0.
And we have no scheduled items, no items for direction. I'll look to see if there's any additional business items. I see none. We have one confidential item, item 6.1, which is a labor relations employee negotiations item. I'll look for a motion to move into camera. The Mayor, seconded by Councillor Hillier. We will move to the committee room after the vote. We will adjourn from the committee room. We won't return to council. We have no other public business to do, but we'll certainly open the doors and make sure anybody who wants to see the motion of adjournment can. That moved and seconded to move into confidential session. Any discussion? None? Okay, we'll open that for voting.
With apologies to the whole committee and any and all assembled, I turn my computer off, anxious to get to confidential session. I vote yes.
Closing the vote, the motion's carried 5-0.
Okay, moving into committee room.